it's so easy to die already.
Alright, 4x3.
Yeah, you can go ahead and transition this.
Alright.
Alright, gamers, what's going on? It's your boys, Glitchedd, McNuggets here at the ASF host house. We also got Shrimp Brain, we got Fireballa, we got Final Crash here as well, but it's just gonna be me and Nugs on couch commentary with Nylan, who is here in spirit digitally. What's going on, Nylan?
Hello, guys. Yeah, I saw my first run. I'm back.
Yep, Nylan is back. This time with the knowledge for Samurai Champloo. Nylan and I kind of rerouted this game before we brought it to the marathon, so we brought the time down quite a bit. I'm going to be running Mugen's story today. This game is split into 3 different story campaigns. You can do Mugen, Jin, and Warso, which is the character that's unique to this game in particular. The game is pretty much an original story. It follows the same storytelling style as Samurai Champloo's anime, where it's episodic. Each thing that happens in the episode is kind of different, but it all culminates at the end into one final ending. Mugen and Jin's paths are separate, but they end up intersecting a couple times throughout the run. So, pretty soon here we're going to get started. Let's make sure. I'm going to have some notes on the side. These notes will just help me figure out where I'm picking up certain items and things like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Just let the intro finish out real quick. You can see the hyper-realistic graphics of the PS2 era. This game was made by Suda51, Grasshopper manufacturer, so you might recognize them from like No More Heroes and Killer 7, games like that. So we'll go ahead and get started with
actual game
Mugen.
so you're not on the OBS delay.
Very true.
Yeah, guys, this is actually a pretty cool dichotomy we're doing here while it gets set up. So I'm actually a Jin runner myself for Samurai Champloo, and Glitchman is actually the Mugen runner. So oddly enough, we're on both sides of this, just like Samurai Champloo.
Yeah,
so,
I also run New Game, and he runs New Game Plus, so
yeah,
it's even more.
Life imitates art, or whatever they say.
So
the same coin.
we'll go ahead and get started. I'll just count down. You can start the timer, Shrimp, over there. All right, so let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go.
So does that make me the unofficial character of this game, the one that's like fake?
Yeah,
'Cause
you're
I'm not
Warso,
actually there.
bro.
Yeah, dual wielding, awesome. In the shadows, man, that's awesome.
This game has some pretty cool loading screens. You will definitely see a lot of these because there's a lot of them placed throughout the game. But the first set of enemies here, it wants us to defeat a wave of 8. I like to switch to the second track and do a 3-hit combo into an heavy attack. And Nylan, you can kind of explain how the combo trees work.
So your music tracks influence what combos you do, and like mostly the extension moves will adjust. So like when he presses square, 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 triangle, there you can see the tracks moving down through that to show that move. And at any time he can basically, even mid-combo, switch between track 1 and track 2. The music track will also change, and then the moves he performs will change. Some of them also have bonus effects, which will happen later in the run, including like weapon durability reduction or defense up. And we'll be making use of those once we get them.
Right. So we cleared the first wave of enemies out. That's kind of just like the intro to the game, just kind of get you familiar with the combat. Episode 0 is really short. That's literally the entire episode. So
It was a really good ep too. He only didn't get 1 kill like instantly, so that was like really good luck. Usually that's a big reset point.
right. Yeah, because those enemies, the ones with the crow masks, like to block a lot. Thankfully they didn't this time. I'm going to be doing some saves at some point throughout the run, just to make sure nothing funky happens. We're going to hop right into episode 1 here. And the story of this game, to put it briefly, basically, you're in medieval Japan, of course. There is a clan that is pretty much in charge of the area that we have wandered into, just as wandering samurais. But this clan is being pushed out of their land by just some rich bourgeois type powerful enemies. Basically, we run into one of the leaders of the clan, Warso himself, and he's just kind of asking for our help to push this warring clan out of the indigenous people's space. So we're just kind of helping them out because he saved our lives in Chapter 0. So we're going to go first into the weapon store and get our first weapons for the run.
Yeah, there's to kind of go over the characters we're not playing really quick, like Jin, Warso, and Mugen. Weirdly enough, they're so different in regards to how powerful they are, or like their even some weapon stuff, and like it kind of affects things surprisingly. Like in terms of difficulty in this game, there's not like a difficulty setting, but Jin is definitely like the easy mode of the game. Warso is like medium, and then Mugen's like hard. I don't necessarily know why they did it that way, since Mugen is like soft defaulted. But yeah, we pick up 2 weapons here, Western Sword and Bokudo. Western Sword has pretty good durability and a ton of damage. Weapons have different stats in this game. The Western Sword's like a 2-3 or something, or each star basically gives you loosely 12.25% more damage, or more than that, but it's 62.5% damage is what I meant to say, per star, which is a lot. The durability goes up in a weird way. Basically, like, the base weapon is indestructible, but weapons based off your star count use a certain amount of durability out of 500. Some weapons, like, break really easy, like the Gladius or the Jahardgar. But, like, the normal base weapons will have 500 durability, and then every time you hit an enemy, it doesn't count block or anything, per hit per enemy, you will lose durability. And it's like, per star, you take 2 less durability per hit. So this weapon only consumes like 6 durability per swing. The Bokudo only consumes 2 durability per swing. That craft you just picked up gives you all your durability on all your weapons back. Even if they're broken, they'll just be reanimated.
Yes, the spicy herb is what restores your weapon in this game,
right.
Oddly enough.
So right now we're just basically collecting Kobans. These are the big orange coins that you see drop from these enemies. They spawn in very specific groups of enemies, so once I've hit a certain amount, I head to the next area, because hanging around and killing enemies that aren't going to drop them is kind of a waste of time. So right there, I was looking for 4 in that area. I got them, so now I'm looking for 2 more. There should be one at the start of this area. There it goes right there. And we'll go ahead and get the next one in the start of the next area. So we need 8 total to get through this first area, but you can go ahead, Nylan.
We can quickly explain tension. So like, when you hit people, you'll hear this like weird tone come in. It's kind of like winning a arcade machine or something. It's like da-da-da-ding. That will give you, that means your tension's full, and you can see that red square on his combo bar. If he does a move that lands on that red square and it hits an enemy, he'll enter that mode that you're seeing, which is like hyper mode. If he attacks while he's in it, he'll just like teleport between foes, hitting them for like triple damage basically, and they'll get eviscerated into dust. And then you'll receive additional funds from them when you beat them. You want to use that as often as possible. On top of that, tension actually gives you stat ups in this game. It gives you 20% damage while you have tension at full. So it's worth a lot.
Yep.
We want to abuse it as much as possible.
We're definitely going to be using the hyper mode quite a bit. So this is the first boss fight. This is Karada. He's basically immune to the hyper mode. So we're just going to try to hit him with as many flash hits and quick combos as we can. We don't want to enter the critical mode, basically, because it will make the fight actually slower than just attacking him normally. Yeah, he likes to hop around a bunch, and it gets kind of cursed.
There's 2 different clash states in this game. There's this one, you saw it's kind of white in the center on the ring, and then there's a red one. If your attack and their attack happen really close to each other, it'll turn red instead. If you hit circle and then square after that, you'll enter hyper mode and for twice as long, and you'll beat them up faster.
Right.
We'll use it later, but you can like do some pretty skilled hyper mode counter state stuff.
Yep. So that was the first boss. We still aren't finished with this chapter. There's a little bit more to go. We're gonna be entering a burning building, and we're going to be running into Warso for the first time since he saved us again. We're also going to cross paths with Jin here as well. But it's going to be another fight of defeat certain amount of enemies once we get here to get into the building. And then from there will be a little bit more Koban collecting. So these guys are pretty weak. We have to kill 20 of them. Usually it takes about 3 to 4 hits to take them out with the Western Sword. 2 hits for these guys. Square hits are kind of like the light hits in the combo, and triangle are like the heavy hits. So we're just going to do light hits because they have a little less like recovery. Sometimes they whip and miss, and it can be annoying, but I blame that on the lock-on system in this game. It's kind of unreliable, but you can hold R1 to lock on to enemies. Sometimes while the enemies are moving, the game doesn't like that, and it will kind of just make you swing at nothing. But we're getting through them pretty quickly here. These guys with the stars on their head basically allows you to enter trance mode. We don't want to do that because it is a timer that appears at the top of the screen that pretty much counts down. It lets you slash the enemy multiple times, and if you do 100 slashes, you enter a mini game that you can unlock weapons and bonus content from. We don't need to do that in the run. The only time we ever need to use those stars is for replenishing HP. So if you actually do that star minigame there and complete it, or at least get a couple hits under 100, you'll replenish some HP. So sometimes we'll have to use it for that, but otherwise we won't be.
It heals about 25% of your health. The bonus mode at the end is called like Tate mode. It's not worth it. It gives you weapons. You might be thinking, wait, isn't there a cool weapon you could theoretically get? The problem is that you don't really earn that weapon. You earn the ability to purchase that weapon, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
not only that, but
like,
in order to get to the point where you unlock anything, you have to defeat 100 enemies in Tate mode. So it takes a very long time.
There's a spawn cap in this game. It's about 4 enemies. So you can only kill 4 at a time. So you just kill 4, wait, kill 4, wait. It takes like at least minimum a full minute of just perfectly one-shotting them all right as they spawn.
Yeah.
Like, which is just terrible.
Yep. And
someone actually asked in chat, what's up with the little guy getting crunk in the corner?
oh, dude, he's tweaking. Man.
And so, yeah, this little gamer tweaking is actually one of the indicators for the hyper mode.
Tension.
So, yeah, the tension. To be able to go into hyper mode, and there's actually like the star that spawns over his head to go into trance mode. So if you see him tweaking, getting crunked, hitting that soldier boy, it means that you're able to go into that tension mode and do that extra damage like you're talking about. And if the star is above, it means you can enter that trance mode, which there's actually another feature in trance mode. I think you guys mentioned it a little bit, but it can recover your health.
Right.
The more hits you do in that trance mode. So, in terms of the New Game Plus state, where there's actually a track that will decrease your health to instantly go into the tension mode.
Yep.
Yeah, that you actually want to go into that trance a few times and kind of try to get a lot of health back and continue. So that guy's actually pretty important in the run. So we like to see him getting crunk down there.
Yeah, it's an interesting difference from New Game Plus that we actually do have to use those star things quite a bit. But New Game, we want to fail them and prevent us from getting into the slash minigame to refill HP.
If you use them, it's kind of weird to think, but if you use them often, it sort of loses less time because you don't get as big of a timer. So it'll be like 5 seconds long, whereas if you use them very rarely in the same stage, it'll take like 15 seconds. So it just takes forever to stall out the 99 hit. You just get 99 or close to it, and then wait, which feels terrible.
Yeah.
We do need to heal, so there's a couple areas we'll likely hit the star, especially the second final and final areas. But yeah, you won't see that often. Also, a small indication, that guy at the bottom left getting cranked out, the star that appears above his head is if the enemy is rendered with a star on screen. You can kind of cheat it. Like, you'll see the star above his head, right? And you can walk away from that star enemy, kill other enemies, and when the star disappears, you know he is no longer a star enemy. It happened in that previous area. So you can kind of use it as an indication to know that he stopped being a star enemy. You can turn back and kill him.
Yeah.
Without wasting time.
Yeah, because it's definitely faster to just let the star disappear, rather than letting it appear, attacking him, and then failing it. Another bad thing about failing the star minigame on purpose is that it respawns all of the enemies in that current enemy wave. So let's say you dealt a good amount of damage to everything in the vicinity. If you hit a star guy and fail it, it just respawns them at full HP. So you can lose even more time for that too. So it is a good idea to just kind of let it despawn on its own, since it does so after some time. But sometimes it's hard to do that when you're hopping around in hyper mode and critical hitting everyone, switching targets a bunch. You'll just run into them sometimes. But
Yeah,
in this
even if
area,
they inherited HP, they spawn new enemies from where you were standing when you hit the star.
Right.
So sometimes it'll even screw up your Koban route because the enemies that it spawns in might not even be the ones with the Kobans anymore.
Yep, exactly. That is true. And that will throw pretty much everything off because, yeah, the Kobans that the floating head that's gatekeeping all these doors wants, the coins, they spawn from specific enemies, basically, or specific enemy groups, rather. So, we want to try to make sure that we're spawning those groups at the right times, or else everything kind of gets thrown off and things get weird. But these guys right here only need 3, so I'm getting it from the first group of enemies here.
Yeah, so it's actually important to look at the HUD. I know it's kind of hard sometimes to look at this game and be like, okay, so I see a little guy dancing, I see a map, and there's a bunch of screens and numbers. That's why this game's kind of deceptively tricky and like what you need to pay attention to. Because if you see it on the top left, there's the heart, which is obviously his health with the different colored bars, and underneath a little picture of a sword. That's actually the weapon durability you were talking about earlier. So it's constantly monitoring those, looking to see how our tension gauge is looking, if the guy is getting sturdy, and then
Well, there's also the rings. The bottom left rings, like they expand outward. He's at literally the last ring right now. If he hits like another 2 times, he's gonna finish that last ring on the bottom left.
Yep.
Yeah, and then also looking at the top with that shows his combos where it'll actually like light up, and there's actually the 2 numbers next to the top button, which are the tracks that he was mentioning. That switch between the different stat boosts or environmental inclusions that he can do. So it's a lot to look at, and that's why Glitchedd is the best in the business. His eyeballs are just scanning the screen, making sure he's keeping up with it. So that's how you know you got a good runner here.
Powerful. Yeah, we're skipping these next 2 areas because they just don't have enough quick Koban drops to get through the doorway without having to grind a bunch. There's some areas where the drop rate is just really bad, like very few spawn groups have Kobans to pick up. So I skipped these 2, and I get the last, I think it's 5 of them from this area right here. So these guys will drop Kobans at a pretty good rate. So I'm just going to go ahead and slash away at these boys. When it comes to these clashes, there are some attacks that are actually better than others. The circle attack is usually a double kick. The square attack is like a AoE slash in a way. The triangle attack is also a kick, I believe, and the X attack is a jump slash. I like to usually do the square attack, especially if enemies are pushed up against a wall, because you'll get multiple hits off at once, and it will do a lot of damage. But otherwise, the X attack is good, kind of gets you out of harm's way. And the kicks, don't they have that bug with the weapon durability, Nylan?
So all counterattacks use durability, but what's weird about specifically the kick ones is they don't. The ones off your counters for some reason don't scale with your weapon you're holding, which is bizarre. So like your square attack that he was saying before, if Mugen himself or the enemy is touching a wall, it can like double, triple hit. It can hit up to 4 times, which is a lot of damage. It does like 25 damage per hit. The kick does, or it does 45 damage per hit. The circle kick does 30 then 30, which is pretty good. And if you happen to be holding the default weapon, it won't consume any durability, and it'll always do the same damage. The triangle one where he kicks you does, I think it's 45 and it knocks them over, and then the X one where he jumps over you and hits you does like 50 and it's the fastest, and uses your weapon damage. So you kind of don't want to use moves that multi-hit sometimes, just because they'll use a lot of durability, and generally will often do a ton of damage.
Don't do it to me.
This is the first difference between JP and English that's really noticeable. In English, which more or less we're playing here, like, if you fall into a hole, you're invincible. In JP, you're not, so you'll basically die. You're seeing here, like, he fell in there and came out. While he's in the hole and while he's coming out of the hole, he's completely indestructible. He can't be hit by anything. And that helps this fight a lot, not gonna lie. You can literally lose all your health.
Yeah, this guy is really annoying. Like, in both versions he's annoying, but the English version that I'm playing right now, yeah, he's a lot more forgiving, I guess. But yeah, he just throws bombs at you, basically. If you get hit by one bomb, you're going to get hit by a bunch more, so it kind of is a chain reaction. But we kind of just use the hyper mode to take advantage of his weakness here, because most bosses, I would say, are immune to the hyper mode, or half of them, I would say. The other half, they get shredded by it. It's very powerful. He's one that takes a lot of damage from it, so as long as you can get a quick hyper mode off and finish him before you start putting in infinite from the bombs, you're good.
Yeah, bosses in this game have what are called hyper responses. So like the first boss, we were talking about not using hyper against him, because he has a specific move for dealing with hypers where he tries to, like, he becomes invincible basically and smacks you away. That boss that he was fighting, his response to hyper is to disappear, which he already eventually does anyway. And you can deal so much damage within that small period of time, it's just worth it to hyper him anyway. A lot of other bosses, they don't have a hyper response, such as the witch. She doesn't have a response because she's on a timer anyway.
Yep. So this mission here, we're going to be heading to the estate of the clan that's taking over this area, and we're just gonna just be taking out a bunch more goons. They have a bunch of guys posted up to defend the estate and whatnot, but we're going over here just to make sure that we can, see what's going on with them, what their intentions are for trying to take over the area and everything. This area that I'm in...
track purchase?
Not yet. We're going to buy it in Chapter 6, or Chapter 5, right before the Witch. But, yeah, this area right here is kind of like the hub world. It's just the main town. There's shops here that you can buy items, records, change your weapons, things like that. But we're not going to be doing any of that yet in town. We'll be doing it later at the pop-up shop, similarly to Chapter 1.
And you can beetle wrestle. You get gambling in this game.
There's
That's
a lot.
Inspired.
Yeah, there's a lot of different minigames. There's like Beetle RPG, where you bet some money on two beetles fighting, and it's totally random who wins. There's higher chances and lower chances. There's like a eating contest where Fu has to eat as much food as she can for money. There's a lot of fun mini games that unfortunately we don't get to see in the run, but it's a cool little interactive town that you can.
We've had a lot of Twitch streams of Channel Point. Polls that we've done on which beetles are gonna which beetles are gonna do it. So it's a fun time casually for sure. I mean, even if you're just trying to unlock some stuff for a new game plus.
It's a good way to get like a big chunk of money instead of grinding, because getting actual money outside of collecting extra Kobans takes a while in this game. So you can just start up a beetle battle, bet 30k on the highest stakes and get a good return, but it's a very unforgiving minigame. You will get destroyed.
In the new Jin route that I've been working on, like we beetle beetle for 16k, I think.
Yeah.
But like kind of feels bad to add those into the run, but it's actually not very rare, because you can back out of the beetle game really quickly, and it changes your rates. The rates are actually very in your favor, deceptively.
Yeah.
You have like crazy odds to win. It's like 90% for like double money for no reason. I don't know why the rate's so high, but if you pick the right rates with the right beetle conditions, you just have to cycle it a bit. You can have a perfect condition beetle and still have, for some reason, a good rate. And if you do, you can just accept that and make double money with like almost 100% certainty.
Yeah.
It just depends how many times you have to reset the game, but it's not all that. It's definitely worth it to make 16k.
Oh yeah,
like 2 minutes.
That's very quick, yeah. But right here, we're just going through the estate. There's no enemies that drop any Kobans here, so we're just walking past all of them. We're going to be fighting a specific set of 6 powerful enemies that block. They can pretty much only be attacked from behind as a counterattack. So, let me just make sure I got the right combo on. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
It's also the first enemy without the ability to be hit by... So bosses kind of have this as well, but a couple enemy types in the game, when you try to counter them, etc., they have different counter options. Bosses are one of them. These enemies are the other. Certain enemies that can't be knocked down for any reason have weird counter options. These guys kind of fit in a weird spot. They don't have any down animation. So if you use certain counters on them, they don't do anything. Like, they glitch out and nothing happens. So they are weird.
Oh, wrong guy, wrong guy. I still hit him though. That's good, I guess. Yeah, see, these guys love blocking.
They kind of look like Red X from Teen Titans.
Kinda,
I
yeah.
just now realized that. I always thought they looked familiar, and I finally figured it
Come
out.
on, man, throw out an attack. Oh. Okay, I got him. Okay, we're good, we're good. This man needs to throw out something.
He needs to stand up straight, dude. He's got hunchback.
Alright, there we go. We gotta move forward away from them sometimes to spawn the rest. Or else we get stuck in a loop where they don't spawn. Come on, man. These dudes love to do nothing sometimes.
Yeah, the way the actions work in this game, kind of similar to other games, but it's really obvious in this game, is every, like, let's say, 70 frames, they check which action they want to do, and then they go, idle is one of those actions. They just do nothing. And so they just roll up, nothing, 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 attack. And it makes attacks omega infrequent in this game.
Yep. Alright.
They basically have like a 70% chance to do nothing.
Yep. So yeah, we're just watching some cutscenes to allow us to go back into the main room. There's no boss for this chapter, surprisingly, so we're just gonna head out. We're just doing some investigations into the manor and everything, kind of infiltrating. That's what we're sneaking in through the sewers, the underground route. This is another part in the story where we run into Jin. Jin, in his story, actually does have to fight the residents of the manor in the boss fights and whatnot. But Mugen, he just kind of slides out. He doesn't really worry about it.
That's true for most of, like, it's kind of interesting. A lot of Jin stages where he fights a boss are the ones Mugen doesn't, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it is cool attention to detail from the devs.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm just striking that box so it doesn't block me. I've been, like, blocked by that rice ball so many times. I'm just like, screw it, man. But yeah, once I go through that door, that's pretty much the end of this chapter. And we're going to be on to the next chapter, The Tale of Tales, which is one of the harder chapters, especially on the newer route where we're not as equipped with, like, our defensive records. We're going to be fighting a lot of monkeys. These monkeys are extremely aggressive, and they do a lot of damage.
And they're stylish.
They are stylish. They have, like, pompadours and, like, greaser haircuts and stuff, so...
Yeah, they have green afros, too.
Yeah.
So awesome.
They're pretty dope.
The best stage in the game. I bet you we get one Champloo.
Right.
It's a bit of a
Every
subtle
time.
detail we didn't go over really, but like when you leave a stage, like everything recovers, your health and your durability for all your weapons. So you don't have to worry necessarily about like managing durability between stages.
Yep. Yeah, the only
If
thing that
anybody's
is
curious
bad is
why there's a rice ball at the end of a stage where you heal when you leave.
I
the
know.
stage. I don't know.
I guess they expected us to just grind for some reason, but maybe it's just because it's also there in Jin's story, I think.
Probably.
But yeah, no, when it comes to stages like that one where there's no boss, like typically, you know, there's no threat of breaking your weapon, or if there's like minimal grinding, no threat. But there are some stages that have a lot of enemies, and if you break your weapon before you get to the end of a chapter where it replenishes, it basically like unequips it from your inventory. You can go back to the weapon store and put it back on, but going out of your way to go to the store, equip the items, go through all those menus, that's a big time loss. So you at least want to make sure that your weapons don't break whenever you're using them. So usually what I'll do is I'll use them until they have like 1 bar of the weapon HP left, then I'll swap to the next one. If I don't find any plants on the ground to refill my durability, then we'll just kind of thug it out with the Typhoon Swell, the default weapon, and kind of make use of trance mode. But we won't really have to do that here because there's plenty of weapon replenishment on the way.
There are a couple attacks in this game that don't use durability. For example, air attacks, for whatever reason, don't use any durability. My guess as to why they don't use durability is kind of a funny one. It's because Jin doesn't have a jump. So they didn't care. The program that this jump would be any different. So if you jump in this game, it doesn't use your weapon stats, and it doesn't consume any durability. So, pretty weird. But yeah, Jin doesn't jump. He rolls. And they pretty much designed the game around him, so...
Which is pretty funny.
Best character in the game.
Okay, so I'm only going to get 2 Kobans in this area. I actually missed a chest because I was looking at my notes, hilariously. But, oh, here we go. There's a backup. Let's go. So, you want to pick up that mushroom because it gives you immediate trance mode. These monkeys are so aggressive that you want to just be critting them at all times, basically. As you can see, they're already hopping on my case. They block a lot. All that stuff, so you just want to get into hyper mode as soon as you can. Unfortunately, they respawn here, but cool.
Yeah, they have swords in their mouth. Or crack.
Okay, we got one.
Yeah, they're like the popular meme. With the dog.
One more.
Yeah, but the monkeys are cooler.
Actually, you know what? We'll go ahead and head out. One's fine. I think it kind of gets a little dicey trying to get more in that area. So we can get the extra here where there's a higher drop rate. So we'll do that. These guys here, we pretty much just take them out as we see them. I'm going to hit this guy first so I don't get subjected to the meme of respawning, ruining my damage. Alright, there's one. So we need a total of 8 here. So
there is the technical button mechanics. We didn't really go over them. We haven't been using them that much. In this game, if you swing at an enemy and it hits and you press circle, your character will warp to the next available enemy. It's kind of cool, but we don't use it that much because, I mean, it's like cool. We use it a little bit, especially in trance, but otherwise not super oftenly used. And then the other thing is specifically Jin and Mugen can do it. Jin almost never does it because it's harder for him to do it. It's not as spammable. But if Mugen mashes circle, because he has nothing programmed onto a circle button, he can mash it, unlike Jin. And if an enemy attacks him and you perfectly time the circle press, you will like parry them, and you can like press square, triangle, circle, or X for a bunch of different attacks, similar to these counterattacks. Jin also has it, but for Jin to do it, he has to press circle, because his circle and his X are a roll. If he presses circle, literally the frame he gets hit, he'll trigger a parry, and he'll instantly slash through all the enemies and they'll die. They take 160 damage. It's the best way to kill every enemy is Jin, but it would suck to do in the run, so we don't do that much, to be honest.
yeah, it is pretty cursed.
The timing isn't great because there's enemy hitbox.
Yeah, and sometimes even when you you feel like you're timing it perfectly, or you're mashing your soul away, it's where you should hit it. It just doesn't work. The game's weird about it sometimes. But we do use the circle to alternate targets when in trance mode because it's actually really good for that. You already have good movement in trance, the ability to or hyper mode, and the ability to move around really quickly. So doing the circle alternating targets when you have such high damage is really good.
Yeah.
So I only need one more Koban. I'm gonna refill my weapon HP with that suspicious herb. Let's see.
Spicy lettuce. That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
This game, I'll talk about it a little bit. This game's had an interesting history in terms of our speedrunning journeys. I believe Glitchedd was the one that first found it, but there was a guy by the name of Macrocosm that kind of did his own routing for Mugen in this game, and we kind of studied it a while back then, mostly to just get a feel of the game and what kind of mechanics he already knew about
Get out the
that
way,
weren't really that well known. And one of the moderators, Despera, did their own sort of routing. So in the early stages of this, we kind of just took those two and combined them. In terms of me, I was so much more focused on New Game Plus because it was just way easier for me personally to just go into hyper mode where you basically just get the sonic speed and just eliminate enemies so quickly that I was so much focused on trying to find those values in which weapons were going to be best to use.
Yeah, it was a big routing undertaking because we had to, or Nuggets most, since he was doing the New Game Plus, he just had to grind to unlock all those weapons and see which ones were better than each other.
Yeah, and that's what was so funny. So I spent like weeks at a time just going on stream and just grinding all this. And Glitchedd here was like, yeah, that sounds pretty bad. I think I'm just going to stick with new game. And I was like, dude, but it's so tough. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And so...
It's not as bad as it seems. Like
it's so, yeah. I mean,
it is tough in New Game Plus because you're using the crit track, so every hit you do steals your life. So it can get scary. But in this, it's tough just because the enemies in this game can get ridiculous, especially towards the end. The bosses, like this boss right here that's about to come up, is pretty tough as well. This monkey up here, that's Boss Zaro. He's like a mini-boss for this area. He likes to throw projectiles at you that are unblockable and do a lot of damage. All the health that you have for this fight right now that I'm in is the health that you're going to use for the actual boss. So if you lose too much health, it gets really bad. So you have to kill enough monkeys for Boss Zaro himself to come down. And then once he does, you just shred him with the... hyper mode there, so that was really good.
With a sweet afro.
Yep. He's called Boss Zaro in Japanese, but we got Alpha Monkey in English.
Yeah. Not too far off.
Not very much.
Because yeah, Zaro is just monkey, so
yeah,
he's pretty much.
So this is the real boss fight of this chapter. It's a 3-phase boss fight. Once again, the same HP that I had from the Boss Zaro section is going to be the same HP I use for the rest of the phases of this boss fight. I take this fight really safely because, you know, if you try to go too fast, you will get wrecked. So I usually kind of bait out his attack, do about 3 or 4 slashes in his back. And yeah, sometimes his hitbox are ridiculous. So I kind of bait out the attacks, just do the backwards hits. If he does the tornado, I wait a little bit longer to attack because there have been times where Mugen has attack, like he's moving forward as he's attacking, so he just runs into the tornado from behind and take a lot of damage. So I'll just do 3 to 4 slashes from the back here.
Yeah, you can also like. Because Mugen has no animation to his circle press, he can technically, if he wants to, mash while he's running around him in case a random stray hitbox swings at him. Mm-hmm. He might parry it. So there's like a little bit of something that can be done there, but like we said, circle's kind of not the most consistent thing. But I mean, you can do it, I guess.
It's not a bad option
really
select.
fast.
Yeah, like why not, right?
Yeah, you're not doing anything with that button. It doesn't commit to anything. So you can always press it. Also, because there's no other enemies in this fight, technically you can be pressing it while you're attacking too, I guess. But yeah.
And this boss fight has such good sound effects. I mean, the pack sounds are just crazy.
Yeah. On the metric of weapons in this game, we don't actually swap too many weapons on. I said before, but like some weapons just are deceptively horrible in this game for no reason. Yeah. One of which is the Jihadgar and the Gladius. The devs gave them massively bonus damage, which is like, oh, you'd think, well, we want those, we're speedrunners. But in exchange, they break in, the Jihadgar breaks in 3 hits, and the Gladius breaks in 5 hits. I don't know what they were thinking, because...
It's unusable with how much you have to attack.
It's unusable. The Jihadgar does hit really hard. It hits 11 times as hard as the Typhoon Swell, which is the highest I've seen in the game. But when you swing it 3 times and it shatters into dust, I don't see how that really helps you. When the Western Sword does 3.2 times the damage of the Typhoon Swell, and you could swing it literally like 80 times. So I don't know what they're thinking. It's kind of funny though.
Yeah, the New Game Plus route, we kind of balance it very similar, where the weapons we use usually have a 3-3 or like a 4-3 or a 4-4, just so we get more damage. But we don't have to worry so much about trying to find the spicy herbs throughout every round, because they only give you a select amount. So you got to be careful, especially because you need it full going into a boss. Because if your weapons break and you're stuck on the original one, it's just it's
really bad. So this is the section of the boss where he kind of has like an invisible health bar. The game kind of just wants you to get him back down to that red region of his health, so it can teach you a new special move. We can't see his health depleting because it's supposed to seem like he's invincible until we use this special attack. But we just treat this last phase of the fight like any other and just deal damage to him as quickly as we can so that we can get the prompt to use the special.
Exactly.
There it goes,
this
right
new
there.
move that they give us, you can press square plus circle or triangle plus circle, and it comes out. The move itself is like, it's technically strong, but it consumes your health. This game is very much like beat 'em up pilled, like any sort of like Final Fight or whatever. there's like, you know, the Kobans are kind of like the screen panning over, and this attack consumes your health similar to a lot of super moves in older beat 'em ups for the Super Nintendo or Famicom. So like, it's kind of funny. But yeah, this attack is actually pretty strong. It does like 100 damage, which is insane. For comparison, the base attack for like square is it's like 9, 12, 14, 19. So 100, just going kick, 100 is a lot. The problem is it consumes like 5 to 10% of our health, and the range kind of sucks. But it is basically a stronger version of pressing triangle. I don't remember if it can clash or not. I've never really tried. But if it had iframes, I think we would use it a lot, honestly.
Probably so. Alright, so Pure of Heart, this chapter is pretty cursed for multiple reasons. This has one of the harder boss fights if things go wrong. In this chapter, basically, you're getting your dreams haunted by a witch lady. So you can see we're in a funny-looking dream world that looks like Super Mario, but kind of bootleg. So we're going to go in here and we're going to buy a new record track, and this is the new track that was added to the route, Bird of Passage. We're going to replace our first track with this one, because this track lets us get an easier access to trance, or in hyper mode. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy this here. Let's see.
Yeah, legally distinct. We like to call it legally distinct Mario. So.
Yeah, basically. Alright, so we got Bird of Passage on.
Bird of Passage has a lot of small boons. It gives us additional hyper mode duration, which is that good mode. It makes it easier to get into it because its combos are all really short. Its extensions are pretty strong overall as well. And it also has a unique air triangle where Mugen will stomp on the ground and then do a flipping kick. All of these things are nice to have because that stomp has like an AoE hitbox on it.
Oh my.
And whatnot. It also has a fairly unique triangle, I guess. It's a double hit into a kick. You might see us do this double hit kick thing in this stage a bit because it progresses us forward a fair amount. These guys are not working with us. Yeah, we want this sort of clash thing to happen more often than not, especially with the right options. These enemies kind of roll around like Dark Souls enemies. So.
Here we go again, guys. Women trying to get in our dreams.
Alright, this time we're actually going to take this, and we're going to do some slashes so that we actually get some health back. The weapon didn't switch at the beginning when I tried to, so I was using a really weak weapon. But we got some of our health back from that guy, and we're just going to try to take advantage of the trance mode to take these enemies out. These are some of the strongest enemies in the game. They do not care that you are trying to attack them, and they will block, and they will roll at you and hit you probably 2 to 3 times each roll. So they're really strong and really painful to deal with. Get me off of the Typhoon Swell.
They're definitely the strongest enemy in the game. Luckily we don't have to fight them much, but they appear in like the end of the final stage, I think, and here. They're definitely, certainly extremely broken. It's only to their benefit that they're on this like 2D plane as well, because when you fight them later in the game, the 3D plane makes them miss you very often, but on this stage they don't have to worry about that.
Oh, please don't die.
They're just evil.
I'm gonna go get some help if I can. These guys are crazy.
As I said before, the game can only render a certain amount of enemies, so he doesn't have to worry about any spawning when he runs forward. If they're still alive.
Yep. And I'm
but it also
kind of
means that he has to
with
make sure not to
strats.
run too far forward sometimes if he's trying to get the
So we need 18 total Kobans on this stage, so we need quite a lot. Kind of unfortunate because of how many of these guys we have to fight. Alright, let's see. Yeah, see how they hit you like twice in one go. I also need to swap back to the Bokuto because my Western Sword is breaking, and I really, really need that sword for the boss fight. So I don't have the luxury of just sticking out with my most powerful weapon the whole time because there's so many enemies, they block so much that my durability doesn't get saved very well. So I'm switching to the Bokuto just to save the durability. It is really good, yeah.
Yeah, we need to find the sacred herb.
The game only considers the Bokuto to be a 1-5 weapon, but what it doesn't tell you is that because 1 star was
2.5% extra damage versus the Typhoon Swell, and 5 durability means you only consume 2 durability per swing. You can swing this weapon a grand total of 250 times before it breaks.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it's just 62.5% better than the Typhoon Swell. Like, there's not much of a reason not to use this. It's really hard to break it unless you're killing everything with it. And you usually get some lettuce before anything happens.
Alright, so it started off rocky because the Typhoon Swell would not get out of my inventory. But now we're doing decent. We're looking pretty good on Kobons. I'm gonna get this health. I'm gonna save that, I think. And I'll grab it, why not?
No.
I'm just Bokuto gaming. Yeah. Normally we don't run too far from here before we have enough, but running back would just be bad, so I'm just gonna grab it.
Title of the game, Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, some interesting little title cards in the background.
I gotta say, I love the aesthetics of this game. I mean, it's coming from someone that Samurai Champloo is probably one of my top 3 anime now of all time. I just knew how to play the game, and I was like, dude, this game looks sweet. The loading screens are cool. The tracks, the idea of switching tracks is cool. All these little level designs and stuff. I mean, cool monkeys with afros that are just straight green and orange. I think it's pretty fresh.
It is. It's a super cool game. Honestly, this is very ahead of its time. It's a very high quality game. There are some like jank to it, but like honestly, for the time it was made, it's very ahead of its time.
Yeah, this game was made in like 2006 or something, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, like, Mugen has gotten a lot better as we've routed him a bit more, so the game's like a little bit deeper. Jin is really fun as well. So, good job. Oh man, they really don't want you to get anything.
No, they don't.
But yeah, Nugs, like, I'm surprised you didn't play the Dororo game on PS2.
Well, we're still going down the list. You know, a lot of us. It's been really nice for a lot of us anime gamers where we're. Sometimes we do the one and dones when they're really, you know, difficult to play for extended periods of times. But some of these games just deserve to have their time and to be routed fully, especially to let other gamers kind of have a good sense of going in. So that's definitely on there.
Alright, well, we're going into one of the hardest bosses with half HP, so great that we love the enemies on this level. This is the witch that's kind of haunting our dreams right now. Basically what we want to do is we want to get into critical mode as quickly as we can because she is weak to it. Of course, I messed it up. Alright, so basically, she does a bullet hell minigame that will destroy you. And I'm having great luck with that.
The audio just fries trying to have every sound effect.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Yeah. She has a set of attacks. She kind of does a set pattern, but they're really, really strong. Honestly, way too strong. The game doesn't have like a lot of iframes when you get hit, so they just chain stun you until you explode into dust. So it can get really tough.
Yeah,
this fight's definitely one of the scarier ones. Luckily, this game's pretty charitable. You go right back into the fight after.
Yeah. Yeah, these fireballs right here are actually crazy. Like, they're so strong. And she can spawn them in front of her in a rotating manner. And it pretty much blocks her from taking any damage. She goes right into spawning a really overpowered bullet hell of parts immediately after that. This one right here is so bad it will just completely wobble you.
Yeah. Like I said before, the game doesn't give enough iframes to get out of any of those things, and unlike Jin, Mugen has no way out of it. Jin can, he can just mash circle, because he has an invincible roll, and they built the game for him. So,
yeah.
Now I know what you guys are thinking, right? You're really gonna put a sword to a lady? Well, first of all, she's a witch, and you know I don't condone violence for those that identify like this. However, she is trying to murder us, so unfortunately Gabriel must act himself. Just give him a little bit of charity here.
In the story, she put like a
let's go nice.
She put like a curse in your mouth, like a cursed animal.
Yeah.
Like a snake.
She's evil. I mean, she's evil. Gamers, alright? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. She's evil.
Not a fan of this witch. Not at all.
Yeah. If somebody in real life walks up to you and puts a snake in your mouth, I think there's something happening.
Yeah, and normally the old route is very, very safe for this fight, but it's also RNG as a trade-off. Basically what we would do is we would get the track that increases our defense so that in the event of something stupid happening, like me getting juggled by her bullet hell patterns, if something like that were to happen on the old route, we wouldn't get as destroyed because we had some defense, but the trade-off is that it would be harder to get into hyper mode because the hyper mode would be on an RNG part of the combo that was way more impossible to land. So thankfully we do have fast trance, but it kind of makes the fight dangerous, and it can be a reset point for like world record attempts and whatnot. So dying there is pretty common on this route. And like Nylan said, thankfully the game is kind of forgiving on that. It doesn't put you all the way back to the start of the level. It just lets you retry the boss fight, so it's not a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got Magic Staff and Falling Star. Both of these are insanely powerful. Magic Staff is a like what, a 2-4 weapon or a 3-4 weapon. Like it's a better Bokudo in a lot of ways. So we like to put it over the Bokudo. And Falling Star is a track that gives us durability. It like halves durability cost or reduces it by like 2 or 4.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and shop now. We're kind of shopping, kind of not really. We unlocked that new weapon, the Magic Staff, and the track Falling Star. So we're just gonna go equip these things. We pretty much already have them. So let me put this on. So Magic Staff is about as durable as the Bokuto, so we're gonna replace that. And then I'm gonna go buy the Swordmaster Fujikawa track and equip that with Falling Star. Fujikawa is the track I was just talking about that gives you the defense buff. We really, really need it for this area in a marathon, especially because of the fact that you have to do so much grinding against extremely powerful enemies and very difficult boss at the end. So
Yes, the monkeys return.
yeah, the monkeys return with other guys that are absolutely destruction. So we're gonna replace this track that we just bought on the last chapter, and then this track as well. And you'll hear the OST change as well because we have these new tracks. So.
Yeah, Fujikawa is one of those tracks where, like, maybe if you were going for like the lowest of the low record ever, you might not put it on. Obviously, it's super good and it makes the run feel way better.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to go for the second, then you probably wouldn't use it. But doubling your defense is insane, and we really like it. And there's some really messed up fights that are kind of it's sort of like a survival. You finish an entire canyon of getting disintegrated to dust, and you have like 3 bars of health left. Like, we're good, but like it would be nice to be able to take 4 hits instead of 2 hits and not die.
Yeah.
And then the durability one is essential. Luckily, the game just gives it to us for free, because honestly they stopped giving us as much grass. They cut us off.
Yeah, they do.
So
it's very few and far between for the refills on durability from here on. So.
We're in recovery. We're in rehab. It's fine. I mean, honestly, the most interesting thing about this game is we're in medieval Japan, but they're selling vinyl. I mean, I didn't know it was a thing for another couple decades, couple centuries. But I mean, hey, I guess they're ahead of their time. I guess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Japan first got a vinyl style player in 1890, so they could have it. It would be post Meiji era, but this game's not too far from that.
Yeah.
I only know that because Turn Back the Pendulum and Bleach takes place 103 years before, and Shinji has a gramophone.
Alright, we're gonna do here. Yeah, this is definitely different on English versus Japanese. It's really funny. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the durability track up.
Diving at you, dang, these guys are crazy.
So another thing that's kind of interesting, these guys are actually suspiciously like low durability. All enemies of this type that are like crouched down are lower durability, and they're actually not that scary, which is kind of funny. But the thing I was going to mention is the 2 tracks we have, right? The durability track's actually reasonably good. It has a moderately worse extension, but it's also like pretty strong damage-wise, and it's not too hard to land. But the one problem with the Fujikawa track is its combos are really not good.
Yeah.
So we do have to do a lot more switching where we like turn it on if we think something sus gonna happen for defense, and or our health gets a little too low for comfort before we go for a heal. Otherwise, we want to stay in this durability one as much as possible and make use of it. Luckily, certain enemies back up, and these enemies, they run towards us, which makes it really easy to land that square triangle if we're forced to use it.
Yep.
Some enemies, similar to the Tengu Mask guys, the knife guys, they'll walk backwards, so they just like never get hit by it. But monkeys and these guys, they move forwards. They tend to get hit by it.
That timing animation makes me laugh every time. It's just full swan dive right there. That is so funny. If you guys are wanting to keep track of the Kobans that we're picking up, if you look in the top right, it'll say money as it slides down. There's a orange number on the left-hand side. Those are actually the Kobans. So, you know, just another menu that my Glitch has to look at while he's also trying to beat all these enemies at the same time.
Unfortunately, yeah, the game's on the rude side of not keeping that HUD up. I'm not entirely sure why they don't just have it slowed down the whole time. Like it's like such a small amount of the screen.
Yeah.
It's peculiar for sure. But
you know what? But it's
I think they
perfect.
just thought it looked cool.
No, it's perfect that it moves because Glitch was actually telling me before this run how much he loves the Subway Surfers and Family Guy compilations that are on every video. The soap cutting videos.
I love
the loud noises, flashing lights. He loves those.
Yeah.
So the fact that his screen is absolutely just flicking around with different viewpoints, it's his high point.
Of course, yeah, that's 100% accurate, I promise.
I would never lie to you guys.
Alright, so this area is actually awful. This is the mountainous area. We don't attack anything in the first area for similar reasons as before. Everything in this area is pretty much like not going to drop the Kobans that we need, and it's just going to waste a lot of weapon durability. So I just kind of turn on my defense track here in case I get hit by a stray, and just run through the first area completely before we get to the second area, which is a very difficult Koban farming grind. So
like
just
we said
keep running
before,
through and climbing.
unless he completely deloads enemies, which requires, you know, ending the section like there where he was able to jump away from them, they stay rendered, as you can see on the minimap, and he can use that to his advantage so he doesn't get ganked while he's running through all these areas. So it is pretty beneficial.
Yep, and I'm probably going to just keep the defensive track on, as cursed as it can be, because the enemies here are just insane. And I'm gonna...
They do like a quarter of your life.
Yeah, they're very, very broken. The only bad part about it, as you can see, is you can see how deep into my combo the highlighted attack is, the red one there. It's the best thing to do to attack quickly and kill things as quickly as you can, of course, speedrun. Come on, man.
You should heal up this guy.
I'm trying, but he will not let me. Yeah, no. But yeah, as you can see, the combo is deep into my combo, or the hyper mode is deep into my combo, and it pretty much doesn't let me land hyper mode because of all the blocking and flashes that I'm going through here. So it gets really hard to grind off of these guys efficiently. So just make sure no one is still in the spawn range before we go to the next area.
Yes, we're having a revolt in the Monkey Kingdom. Earlier, since Glitch beat the Alpha Monkey, he became the Monkey King. And they didn't like that, so they're returning currently.
Let me grab this spell.
Yeah, so yeah, the durability track does let us get into this, especially if we get good luck and we get that sort of like baseball swing fall up, that one, as our track of favor. Like this one, which he has it on right now, is kind of tragic.
Bad. Yeah.
So enemies, if they block, will not transition you into hyper mode. So you kind of have to get a bit lucky if that happens. Also, as weird as it is, hyper mode is completely blockable, and these guys love blocking. So
it's just awful. It's a horrible combo.
It has a little bit of a luck factor to it, where if you get really good luck, you'll just kill every enemy instantaneously and you feel amazing. And if it doesn't, then you're just sitting in front of one dude going ding 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 ding, doing nothing. And that's where this sort of circle press warp comes in, where it kind of lets us deal with somebody else if we get clanked. which saves a lot. Case in point.
There's also an AoE slash at the end of this very long combo for Falling Star. As you can see, some of the combo bits are extended in yellow. That happens when your trance mode is basically full. Like the little dude in the bottom left is just tweaking out at maximum power.
Yeah, max tension.
Yeah, tension. There we go. There's so many different terms for these modes.
Yeah,
they get
tate,
mixed
trance,
up.
hyper, tension.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, once your tension's maxed out, your combo is able to be extended. What is hitting me, bro? Chill!
Cheater hitboxes.
Seriously, bro is throwing some apples at my head, dude. Okay, yeah, so I'm pretty much gonna try to take like every star guy that I can get, because the closer you get to the end of this level, the less healing items there are.
Yeah, there's like one more on the bridge, and that's about it. And you can very easily on the bridge get like tortured down.
Oh yeah, you're just gonna get chipped out like really hard. But you can see the timer at the top gets longer the more you do this. So it kind of wastes a little bit more time to do it like this, but it's definitely in your best interest on this level, especially if you're not using the defense track as much, because you're gonna need the health refills a lot.
Yeah, it's a tricky like balance, because on one hand you do this and you go fast and all the enemies die, and on the other hand you take 1 billion damage, but it's like killing the enemies gets them to not hit you, right?
Yeah.
The enemies don't deal damage. So that's just kind of how it works.
Yep.
Okay, you won't need it.
Yeah, probably not.
Commentator's curse.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that you can also get interrupted out of your hyper mode by enemies attacking at the same time that you get to them. It stops it in its tracks and puts you into the clash mode where you have to react with your own buttons. It's pretty cursed. And sometimes I've been trying to hit the circle clash to get there quicker, but they're just so fast and there's a delay with how I'm playing. You know?
Yeah. The enemies, that special, that red one right there, that window is smaller and smaller as you get through the game. And it's so incredibly fast on these enemies that any form of, monitor delay like he's dealing with, or etc., is going to really screw up your ability to hit that when you see it turn red. Because if you hit it early and it's white, like you saw earlier, it just ends it immediately and you don't get your counterattack, which is kind of fine. You usually don't get hit. But it certainly screws with you not being able to just do it every single time. But even I, with like the minimum delay possible, I'm like, I just hit circle insta and press square and I just take the loss. But it's really tragic.
Yeah.
It's so strong, that's why we won it. Because it just gives us double duration trance mode. Who doesn't want that?
Exactly.
Destroy everything. Hyper.
So we've got 17 Kobans. How many more are we looking for?
We need one more.
Alright.
Yeah.
I want to get it from here because it's better. The bridge, it does
bridge
not
is
spawn like at all, but I'm getting trolled hard right now.
Yeah, I think it's one of these
it's the monkeys, man. Or not the monkeys that hold it, but they're just trolling me.
Oh yeah. They're a little easier to hit to trigger
There it
this
is.
mode, though, so
Okay.
that's nice.
So
good.
now we get out of here. We run for our lives. There's a rice ball in the middle of the bridge, so we'll have full health, thankfully.
In JP, there's like a couple Kobans that just aren't here at all. And so you have to basically run to the end of the bridge and kill 3 waves of guys to get 1 Koban to enter this doorway.
It's really bad.
It's tragic.
It's
They
like
did not
so much
count the
harder.
Kobans in this area. They were like, well, if you kill all the enemies, it's like 20, right? And it's like, what did you think? The door takes 18.
Alright, so we got the Moonlight Samurai here. This dude is cracked. He is very broken. This is another hard fight, so hopefully this time I don't die. It's not as dire as the other fight, where it's like, oh, I got hit by 1 attack and I got juggled, I'm dead. This attack is more like an actual samurai duel. So it's, samurai versus samurai, you're gaming.
It also came in with full health, which is rare.
Yeah, it's very rare and very good. But this guy vanishes when you approach him, so you kind of have to bait out his attacks and interrupt them. This kind of goes through some cutscene lore stuff here with you know, Mugen trying to attack him and him vanishing and being like, "What is this power you've got, dude? What's going on?" So we're gonna go through this a couple times. Yeah, we kind of get the point after the first time, but yeah, it happens twice.
The second time you think they debate you as developers. You're like, okay, so this time I can hit him, right? What?
Nope. Yeah. So we just run into him because there's no point in trying to attack him. It's just gonna make you laggy. But after this, now this is the real fight, and I'm definitely keeping on the defense track because hyper mode doesn't even work on this boss. He's immune to it pretty much. So you have to fight him raw.
What I will say is also kind of interesting in this fight. This is bizarre. A lot of projectiles and stuff aren't blockable in this game, or parryable, that is. For this guy, they absolutely all are, and it's weird. Like, even his tornado is parryable.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So it is pretty odd. Normal blocking in this fight is also exceptional. We don't see it that much throughout the run, but there's an actual normal block button, so L1. And we actually use it a bit here because there's a couple of his attacks where the game's designed so that you're supposed to punish him between him hitting you, rather than like after avoiding it. Because he enters like a special like, oh, I got blocked kind of low-key animation.
Yeah,
as you can see though, defense big.
Yeah, I was gonna say someone actually asked if there's any type of experience or level grinding in this, or if it's just the swords and the tracks. And yes, it's pretty much swords and the tracks. It's the only way you're gonna get good. So you kind of have to just like keep playing to get more money, to be able to buy them and then beat more bosses, or just go into the trance mode. And so it's grinding, but not for levels, just for the items that are gonna help you do it. It's a pretty interesting choice, but
and once his HP hits red here, he goes into another phase that's extremely dangerous, where he will start vanishing like this, and he hits that red charge attack. If he hits that red charge attack and you actually attack it, he goes sicko mode. Like, he actually turns the screen red and annihilates you. So we don't want to hit that. We want to hit the blue one. The blue one is safe. It is still pretty brutal, like it will still knock you out pretty bad, but it won't cause the screen to go red and cause us to get destroyed, so we don't want to get destroyed.
Yeah, he's, you know, he's kind of a jerk. He's gonna do this a lot, being a funny guy, but so far so good. Defense really helps us.
we're trying to channel the Champloo. I don't even know what that means. Still to this day, I've watched this anime multiple times. I still don't know what a Champloo is.
This is also basically our final real boss fight.
Red! Sicko mode! Sicko mode! Oh! Don't do it! He's cheating! Oh. He's hacking! He's hacking! Bro, he gets so much faster too.
Oh my gosh!
Get out of here, dude! You got one HP!
There we go! Let's go! Alright, she's gone!
Sicko mode. It's not supposed to look like that. It's not supposed to be a red bar across the screen. It's supposed to be like inverted red color.
It inverts. It creates silhouettes.
Yeah,
we love PS2. Let's go.
Yeah, PS2 is a funny console.
Rotted PS2.
Yeah. Okay.
That was funny.
At least we made it. We didn't die. That's what matters. Good job.
First try.
Now the most cursed chapter in the game, but not for any reason other than it's extremely grindy.
It's so long. This is the most interesting part of the game because you would think like, oh, we're on the last chapter, we gotta be pretty close, but the grinding that you need for the Kobans makes this level so long, and we've actually shortened. Well, not we, but Glitchedd Island have actually shortened it by figuring out where the Kobans spawn exactly to be able to know. How you could just go straight there, get your Koban and move on, but even then it still takes a bit. How many Kobans do you guys need in this one again?
55.
A stupid amount, yeah.
Yeah,
this stage is like 40% of the game in length is like this stage.
Yeah, this chapter takes like 35 minutes, which is funny because the rest of them are like, oh, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, 35. So, yeah, this is a big bulk of the run, and basically, we're just gonna grind through and collect all the Kobans as early as we can, because the later in we get, the harder it gets to get them, so...
Yeah. The other thing of note here is that, like, So like we said 30 minutes or whatever. Like the JP and English versions of this game have a lot of different Koban differences.
Yeah.
And so in JP the stage is extra horrible. A lot of the Kobans are like after the 4th wave of a guy, like especially for the big guys, versus the 2nd or 3rd wave in English. The English version was released about 3 months or after the JP version. It's basically the 1.0 or 1.01 version of the game. The JP feels kind of like a prototype. It's missing a pause menu. Like you can't even pause the game at all. It's very odd. The only like bad thing about the English version, more or less, outside of potential voice acting complaints, would just be that you don't see the weapon stats when you go to purchase a weapon. That's an unfortunate loss. That was due to the translation team. For some reason they couldn't. I assume it's something to do with the difference between the JP ASCII library and the English one. In the JP library, they have a star. You've probably noticed this when you play a lot of Japanese games. There's like a star, you can add it to your name or whatever. That star is built into that library, but it's not built into the English library. So when they went to call the star, it would probably bring up a brick of nothing. So rather than add a star to a library that doesn't have one in it, they couldn't use the stars. So they likely just were like, I don't know what to do. So like they could have filled it in with squares, I guess, instead of stars. But they just gave up immediately, I assume, and they moved along.
This area is kind of annoying because most of the guys spawn way back here. So thankfully, like when this chapter's over, like it's gonna spawn you close to the bridge, or this part of the chapter rather. But yeah, like you would think you can just keep going across this giant empty area and find more enemies, but no, there's barely any enemies towards the end of it. They're all at the start. So
yeah, this area is
guys.
This area is like Jin's 2nd stage, and they built it for Jin. And then we're like, well, we don't have enough stages for Mugen, etc. You know, like characters reuse each other's stages all the time.
Yep.
And so they were like, I guess we'll just put Mugen here, kill 30.
Yeah, basically, and 30 is a lot of these guys. But yeah, you see Jin and Mugen are crossing paths again. We're both pretty much going through the same, like, I guess, estates. It's like we're going to the castle, the main castle of the bad guys. So we're both going through it just at different times and different sides of it, and we're gonna meet up together at the top once we, you know, get to the final boss. So for this area, we're gonna be collecting like 12 Kobans early on. We only need, I think, 7 to get through this first door, but there's just easy, convenient spawns for them in this area, so we're gonna take advantage of that and just get them.
Yeah, pretty much every door here requires 6, except for the first one.
Yep. We've been talking about Jin a lot, and how they're crossing paths, and unfortunately we don't get to see him here at this year's ASF. But you know, maybe in the future we're gonna have to showcase Jin as well, kind of the other side of the game. But you guys gotta let us know. I mean, y'all gotta donate to the Ko-Fi. Let us know in the chat. Let us know if you're trying to see some other gamers here.
It let me do the handstand, but it didn't give me the prompts to do the kicks. So I was like, what am I doing?
Bro is gaining strength mid-battle. That's great.
30.
Yeah. Yeah, Jin in this game, we said he was easier before. He's really, really strong. Like, incredibly strong. His, like, end combo attack does 88 damage. The first wing of his string does 20 versus Mugen's 9.
Yeah.
Like, it's not on the same level at all. He has stances and rolls that are invincible. His roll attack does, like, 66 damage. It's just, they're just not playing the same game.
Not at
Mugen's,
all.
like, trolling.
My boy got a struggle.
Yeah. If you told me he was using the Bokudo as his primary weapon the whole game, I'd believe you.
Right.
He's just hitting people with sticks.
One of our funny enough for this, we're talking about the handstand. One of our fellow speedrunners, Infamous, just said, "How much for a handstand IRL?"
I'm good, bro.
We got, how about we see some numbers on the Ko-Fi there, Infamous, and I'll debate if I can get that handstand out for you.
Nug's about to do a handstand fall face first
Hey
into
man,
the
look, I'm
setup.
willing to chill out for the kids. All right, it's all going to a good cause. If that's what it's gonna take, I'm all for it. All right, I'm all about helping the people.
I respect it.
If you drop at least 20 Ko-Fi in that chat right now, he'll attempt to handstand.
I'll attempt it. I'll attempt it. And if I fall, I'll even get up again.
If you fall, the run's over. The freak out.
Hey,
It's all on you, bro.
but wouldn't that just be the greatest clip ever? I just fall through the.
You just hear the streams over.
Like, all right, guys, thanks for the donation. Just cuts.
Do behind the camera. Small arms.
I do like a parkour flip.
Alright, we got 10, so the last 2 are in these hunched over guys up here. There should be 2 waves of them. There's one,
Yeah,
and
there's
then
2
I
to
gotta
3 waves
move
of
back to spawn the other ones. So here's one of the guys, there's the other. Okay, there's the 12 Kobans I need to get out of here.
That means we gotta peep the eye on the donations. I'm gonna peep it. I'm a man of my word.
On JP, I swear that it's on the 3rd wave of those guys instead of the 2nd.
Yeah, I think it is. Alright, so this is just like an intermission area. I forget what's in this box. Oh yeah, not necessary, but just wanted to make sure it wasn't.
You skipped the whole first area.
anything I didn't see. Yeah, right. This is ramen? Yeah, don't need it.
Yeah, we leaving that for the enemies. You know those hunchbacks?
Yeah.
They need a little bit of something to feel their backs up, heal them up.
Right. The monkeys' apples aren't good enough, so.
Yeah.
So these guys here, thank you for instantly knocking me out of trance. These guys will basically drop a bunch of the other Kobans that we need. We're gonna start off with 20 out of 55. So this first wave here drops like 5 on their own. So we're just gonna keep spawning them here, farming up.
This hallway, any hallways like this, they're pretty rare in his story outside of the very, very beginning and like here and stuff. But these hallways are amazing for Mugen spinning attack.
Oh yeah, they're really good.
Because you'll almost every time just do 4 hits and just chainsaw their entire life bar away.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, do note what we said before. Durability is based on hit count, so it isn't purely good necessarily that the spin hits 4 times, as it can just shred like literally 8 hits of durability off a weapon instantly. But as long as they're holding like a reasonably durable magic stick, not a big deal. Also, it has like pretty high damage per hit, which means overall we're saving their durability. And there's a durability heal in this stage, in this room. Also adds to the reason why we want to front load this stage is because we have so much extra durability to pick up here.
Yeah, that is true.
So-
There's a durability refill on the right side of this level. This part of the level, rather. So getting as many Kobans early as we can before that refill is good. So we'll be doing that.
Okay, wait, guys. We got to shout out the donation. So Infamous actually donated 35. He said, "Kitty, you can has cheeseburger." The nice inside joke of I spent a good amount of time watching that classic meme.
Spamming it on my stream.
So now I gotta hit the nay on this handstand. Oh my!
Good
dude.
luck, bro. Don't fall forward.
Hey,
That's all I gotta say.
All I'll say is I'll try my best.
Do it behind the setup.
We'll do it.
Because if you fall, it is so bad.
Well, I'll let the run play through. Let the run play through.
All right,
but I'll hit it for the kids. It's for the kids.
Get someone to hold your back up. You can do the little Mugen kicks on the handstand.
That'd be sick.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Infamous,
definitely.
fellow speedrunner. Shout out.
Appreciate that, Infamous. Thanks, bro.
Infamous.
Big gamer. Goated Kakarot speedrunner. Definitely check out the Kakarot runs. Alright, so I have 16. English actually does spawn more here. Japanese is like very conservative, I guess, with the Koban drop in this area, but there's a lot more in the English version. I think I got all the ones I need. I am definitely going to come back for that because I'm not done here. So,
Yeah, the left side has a actual life heal and obviously some extra enemies. It's got about, I don't know, 8 enemies.
yeah, not too many on this side.
Okay, game.
Yeah. My favorite thing is these flashes, they just get guarded anyway. It's like, why is it even possible to guard during this?
Yeah, these counters 100% should not be blockable.
Right.
But they are sometimes. And they're not consistent either. Like, sometimes you do the X1, which jumps over their head and is supposed to be unblockable. And then they guard it. And you're like, wait, but this goes behind you and hits you. And it's like, no, you got shoved backwards, or the attack counter triggered from really far away, so nothing happens.
How much of a dono for you, Glitch, to get the Mugen tattoos around the ankles and wrists?
I mean, if the avatar wasn't a little similar, I might think about it. He would be like, "Oh, bro, you like Avatar?" It's like,
But
nah,
the
man.
drip.
It is kind of drippy. I won't lie.
I got a tattoo artist on speed dial, bro. Straight up.
Gotta grab the funny grass. And
Yeah.
gotta grab the
There's like 2 here. I have been okay with 19 going in. Come on, where's the guys? I was like, bro.
Dude, they're scared of you, dude. You're flying around the screen like that. I'd be scared too. I'd be like, alright, guys. It's my
There's
day
my
off.
19. I'm gonna go grab my healthy herbs.
I'm taking PTO. I'll be back to the castle next week.
There we go. Maybe these guys will have an extra for me. That'd be fog. They probably don't because they suck. No, of course they don't.
substitution jutsu.
Seriously.
Wait, it's like gambling though. You gotta keep going until you get it. They're right there.
No.
They're right there. Look, they're right there.
Okay, okay, we got an extra spinner, guy. Screw it, let's go for it.
Give me one, please. Don't let it
Get
be
it,
a gambling
get it.
curse. No!
Bodied.
Alright, we gotta go back to the
Koban gambling.
Because you only lose if you leave.
Exactly, right. It's not over until you have empty pockets.
Exactly. Until you
to
walk
quote
out.
Kioma from earlier, you know,
know.
right? Gamblers always quit before they make it big.
That is true. Don't gamble, guys, or gamble responsibly.
Yeah. The real answer is don't gamble. Also, if you're gonna invest only if you have over 10k of expendable income.
That door.
Exactly. Hello?
We are not as
This
financial.
door is like actually bodying me.
Yeah, I am not a financial
Oh,
advisor.
this door.
Financial advice?
Not financial advice. This is just 3 degenerate gamers playing funny anime games with
Let me
sacred
drink.
spinning.
Yeah, you shouldn't take your advice from people.
Yo, camera, where you at, man? Okay.
Yeah, camera on break. So these areas are very glitched. Not to be confused with the runner who's playing the game. Like the corners of these areas are considered to be physical manifestations. I know that is kind of obvious. It's a pillar of wood. What I'm saying is enemies in this game actually ignore physical objects, including boxes. They can walk right through them. And these pillars count as basically like boxes that are indestructible. That was how they designed them. They made the box and then they just stretched it to make a pillar and they put it in the corner. Basically. And because of this, they can walk through the sides of these walls in an uncharacteristic way, which makes it really goofy when out of nowhere they just phase through the wall and attack you.
Yeah, the enemies on this stage get very goofy. You'll just see them like in their little attack stance, just backing up, clipping out of bounds, like being in weird rooms they shouldn't be in. Like, it's pretty gross.
Also, if you pay attention to the minimap here, like, we're gonna go up and down a bunch of floors. The game just reuses this map template like 6 times, because it's like,
They won't
made it
notice, bro. We'll just make the game feel longer, you know?
yeah, it's a pagoda, right? It's gotta look like basically the same on every floor.
Yeah, we need the symmetry.
It's stacked. They're not like super ultra wrong for that, but it's not good game.
It's super ultra wrong for gaming, or speedrunning at the very least.
I don't know how they got so much security in this place. Probably
know.
like
That's also
400
true. Like,
enemies.
imagine how much they have to pay these guys, and we take all of their money. Like, in a way, we know that we know Kobans are worth $1,000 each,
Yeah.
and so, like, we take like 70 grand from their pockets, more than that if we count the normal money, and we like leave.
Yeah, we just dip out of here, man.
We don't even spend it.
Nah,
we give it to
just
some
buy
guy
it
at the door.
That's all. Alright,
Yeah, we give like 50 grand of it to the guys at a door, and then we keep the other 20 grand, and we just literally like end the story mode and throw it away.
So basically what I'm doing for like my farming method on these stages, just so everyone's kind of aware of what they're watching, in each corner of the room, there's 4 corners on the top floor and the bottom floor. In each corner of the room, there's at least 1 Koban in the spawn wave. So I'm just going to grab each of those and then some in the middle. Basically, I want to try to stay ahead of the 6 Koban requirement that I need to get through each of these floors for as long as I can. So I got 6 just there. So each of these doors is going to be 6 Kobans. So I'll grab the ones around the corners. If there's the stairway like right next to me, I'll skip those and just kind of farm more on the top floors or whichever the stairs I have to go up or down. But yeah, we'll start in these like middle hallway areas, and now we have some different enemies spawning. We have some Oni spawning. These guys are giants that have some pretty crazy hitboxes and frame data. So yeah, that didn't even give me the chance to counter because I got hit by the other guy. But yeah, we don't want to get destroyed by these guys. So.
True. So in the previous area, those samurai guys are the first enemy Jin fights, so they scaled as the easiest enemy in the game. And they don't block, they're like terribly weak. They don't change the enemies that much as you go through the stages, they just bolster their health a little bit, and sometimes they do a cheeky animation speed increase. Like the reason you saw those ninjas moving at like 4x speed while walking, all they do is just up the animation speed, so they pick what they want to do more often, rather than actually making their AI different. So sort of like a soft, lazy way of just buffing the mob, just like increase their animation speed. But yeah, earlier areas have really weak guys that don't block, so we can get a lot of extra Kobans safely there. So we front load this stage really heavily, so that when we get to the harder parts, we don't have to deal with it at all.
Yeah.
These big guys, their hitbox makes no sense. They swing and like 2 seconds later you get hit, and it also hits like 360 degrees around their body.
That was a lot of damage.
They stopped caring about hitboxes when they got to this big guy.
Yeah.
You only really see him here. So they were just like,
Since I'm next to the door exit right here, you can see that little branching path going upwards on the minimap. I'm only going to visit the corners nearest to the exit versus going all the way around the exit in the square shape. I'm getting kind of unlucky on the drop here. There it is. Took a while. I'm only going to get that corner and this corner over here, and then I'm going to leave because I don't want to farm around in a circle that far away from the exit.
Yeah, there are ways to lab this section like a little more ridiculously than we have. It's just not. It was just way too much too soon before the marathon, but
yeah,
it would be plausible. Let's say that enemy near the corner, for example. It would be plausible that we know, like, oh, that's the enemy that spawns off this spawner, and we could stand as near to that spawner as possible, so that like he's the one that jumps in. You know what I mean? Like, we stand like weirdly out of range. If that was plausible as a strategy, we could maybe even see the Koban drops triple in speed. But it would be so picky. We would be like, yeah, we have to kill this guy while being around this location. So we have to like walk him a little bit and then like kill him. And then the next one would spawn right immediately instead of having to go through a wave.
Yeah.
But it's too finicky to do that strat normally. And we would definitely not do it in a marathon.
Yeah.
Without like grinding the crap out of the game.
Yeah. We've spent a good amount of time on this game, like, don't get us wrong, but there's definitely still things to do in this game, still routing to be done, still grinding to be done. I've done a decent amount of runs, but for future reference, or just for reference in general, the run that I did with Nyland just to prep for the marathon, I PB'd by like 15 minutes. You don't normally PB by that much time if the game is like super duper optimized, so there's a lot still left to do that we could definitely incorporate, but for what we have right now, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's certainly much lower than it was, and when we're talking about like, yeah, you can make the Koban spawn earlier, that's just something that's really hard to test in normal cases. Like that's one of those things where you pull up the game and potentially like an emulator with a save state with your copy and your disk drive, and you go in there and you quickly check every single time, like, okay, this, all right, this one, all right, this one, meticulously checking like which of the guys spawn where, how far you can stand. It just takes a lot of time to do that type of testing versus you know, like finding out, oh, how many Kobans are in the corner of this. That's significantly easier. We could just play the stage and go, okay, when we kill all the enemies in this corner, how many Kobans did we get total? Oh, 3. Is that worth the time investment? Yes. We can move along.
Yeah, just a more efficient, efficient way to route for something like a marathon, I suppose. But yeah, we got a lot to go when it comes to routing overall. But we will definitely take care of it as time goes by. This corner
if anybody else is excited to play this game, definitely try it out and post your Koban discoveries.
Yeah. Most people I've talked to don't even know that this game exists. I've had people come on my stream and be like, there's a Champloo game? I'm like, yeah, this is the only one, though.
Only one.
So, it is cool, though. It's honestly really cool that this game was made by like such a prestigious dev team, like Grasshopper Manufacturer. You can just see it in the stylization of the game, hardcore, so it's really cool. I'm a big fan.
This area does kind of present the biggest bug, or the biggest annoyance of the game, which is camera. Look at this. Boom!
Yeah, the camera just be shifting on you so hard.
The way the camera works as well, like if you're curious, like how does Glitch turn correctly then, like when it rapidly shifts? Well, how the game works is when the camera shifts, as long as you maintain a cardinal direction, it will keep your cardinal. So if, let's say I'm holding up and then the game turns the camera, I will maintain where I was going, not necessarily up anymore, until I change the cardinal. So if I swipe from directly up to up left, I have moved into the left cardinal. The game will then take that direction away and give you your correct direction again. So it's a bit weird to describe in that way, but that's kind of how it works.
It kind of feels like tank controls sometimes.
It does. It's very Resident Evil-y.
Yeah, and that like if the camera's changing while you're holding a direction, it's not going to change your direction until you stop moving. But it throws you off sometimes because you think your brain sees the change and you're like, oh wait, I should change my analog stick to this position, and then it makes you just completely mess up your movement. So.
Yeah, like right here, if he moved up and he's gonna go right, or down and he's gonna go right, he's gonna hold down. The game's gonna then change what down is to now be left effectively. Yeah, but then he has to hit down again, as you just saw there, if he wants to turn that corner. But he's currently holding it. So the game makes him walk into the wall, but he can't change the cardinal to down because he's already there. So he has to release and then press down again.
Yeah, it gets
and that's just so weird.
But we're hobbling our way through with the funny run animation.
Yeah, and the camera's cool and all, but I think it takes a lot of dev power to really like quality of life adjust those types of camera adjustments so that they're not very problematic. Like instead of that down going into another down motion, it probably should have flipped the entire camera if it was going to do it at all. And then you would be fine, or smoothly transition the camera, which it can do sometimes. Would probably be better, and then stuff like that where it gets caught. But it is just troublesome. But clearly they were pressed for time with this game because it came out really well, but they were updating it even the last second.
I'm getting very unlucky on the drops here, but we'll just keep going. I know that there's some back here by the chest. This is one of the areas that I am walking in a circle on because there's just good drops here. Or a square, rather. But guy in this corner, there should be like 3 in this corner. There should be one guy in this spawn wave that has one. There is. And then right by this chest here, there should be 2 guys that have kill bombs. So we'll see. One of them. Let me see about the other. Need to spawn them in because the spawn points are weird. There it is. Okay. So we're good on this corner. We're pretty much almost farmed up. I might even have some extra. I guess we'll see.
You either need 2 more or
Yeah.
you have 22 and you either need 24 if there's 3 doors left, or sorry, 3 doors would be 18. 4 doors would be.
I think there's 4.
Alright. We need to hurry up and nay. Blue is struggling. We gotta go save Blue.
It's all good. It's all good. We got it.
Go on, break.
This this boss is waiting for us.
Yeah, dude. This boss is he takes so long, bro. I gotta hurry up. Blue. All right.
Yeah. So, as you said before, we kind of beat the final boss that really matters. This final boss is a lie and a sham.
But it's awesome.
I'll-
It looks cool.
After
He does.
after the boss, I'll explain why what happens. But as we get into the boss, I'll throw it over to Glitched and Nugs to pop off over it.
Of course. We gotta pop off. I think it's this way for this one. No, it is not. Epic.
But Shrimp
Hey!
or whoever is manning the timer, you're gonna have to be lightning fast when you get to the boss.
Yeah.
Gotta get ready for when he gets to the boss.
Yeah.
Once you see a cutscene where he's on like a rooftop is when the boss will start, and then the boss will be over about 2 seconds after that.
Yeah. I'm pretty much done grinding. I'm just running to the next areas. I think I need 1 more Koban.
Let me out.
It's really easy to get one more Koban. I think there's one right before the final staircase, or right before the staircase in that big
Yeah.
square room.
Yep. That's 2 rooms. Hey, man. This way, actually.
You guys are just gonna keep following you around.
Yeah.
If people are curious between Mugen's jump and Mugen's run, which one's faster, they're about identical. His jump is faster, but I mean, we can't use it much here because of the ceiling and stuff.
Yeah. Get out the way,
But
boy.
it is very good. His jump actually also has a little bit of iframes. You probably noticed you've never probably got hit out of the top of Mugen's jump because he's not rendered. So it is sort of his version of a roll, kind of. He can jump out of a lot of nonsense.
So there's an extra room.
It's just
so I
not that
actually
fast.
need some more, but they're in this area, so I'll just grab them from here. Don't need that. There's so many floors to this chapter, man. So many. I
Yeah, it's a lot of grinding.
think it's like
There's gonna be
8
this
or
giant
9
rec-
total.
Yeah, there's gonna be a giant square room after this room. And this room, by the last staircase, there's definitely one, and there's one I think early on, but it's a little bit of waves, especially in JP.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have it, I think. Unless you need 7. You have 6.
Yeah. Isn't there one more door with the creatures in the next area? I think there is. So I'm gonna grab them. It's pretty easy to get them here. So. hopefully.
No, it's super easy, especially in English.
Yeah.
In English, I think the main difference is they just front-loaded it more.
Yeah.
Because in JP, they do eventually get them to you, but I feel like it's like you kill 3 waves of them and then you get it. But in this version, you just get them on the first wave.
Yep. I just need 12 and I'm good.
Yeah, it's just 2 more. One there.
There should be one up here, like right up here.
There's usually one right before this staircase.
Yeah.
In my memory. Okay, that's what I was saying before. About the jump not already.
Alright, now we're done we are done grinding. We are getting out of here.
Yep, so we get this and we go up the stairs and then
Do you think
we
there's a
just
whole
kind of
body in there?
get soft locked.
Yep.
Just a floating head that
Just skibbity
takes our
door.
Koban.
Yep. Little
Relative to-
floating head
sorry.
guy. Whoop, little slippery. So this is
Oh,
the
the
area we were
creatures.
talking about with the rollers, but this is 3D and they are only used to playing Super Mario World. So
You die then.
They're not nearly as broken in this area, thankfully.
yeah,
but
they're
if
really not.
If you saved any grinding for them here, you're in for a bad time. You just don't want to fight these guys if you can help it. Like, they're really cringe. So, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, not worth
Hey,
it at all.
hey, 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 chill! man, chill. I'm at the end, dude.
They deal a lot of damage and they're reasonably fast, so they're just kind of annoying.
Yeah. Oh! Yo, get away from me, man. I'm just trying to get some help. Alright.
Yes, because we need all the help for the
Yeah, see, there was one more door. That's the last door you have to pay for.
And then we're gonna go up like one more flight of stairs, and then
Alright, guys.
cutscene, and then funny boss.
Yeah, we have the hardest, most brutal, destructive fight in the game coming up here, so get ready.
Yeah, the timer's about to end.
Yeah, so time's about to end as soon as you see me defeat this legendary beast of a boss fight.
It's a
So,
mech.
so basically, here's the really complicated strat. You walk up, you switch weapons, and you attack him when your weapons are switching. There you go.
There we go. Time. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go! Ah, dude.
Dang.
If anybody's curious why that happens, because this boss was given a special health condition thing, because the devs wanted to make him all fancy and the bottom screen life bar is a bit tricky, they decided to reprogram the way he does health. But when you deal a weapon switch attack in this game, you do 1 damage, which sounds like that won't do anything, but it deals 1 damage to the original health instruction, which says his health is 0. And the game checks if his health is 0 or lower, and it goes, well, he's dead. And it sends the he's dead instruction, even though he has 5,000 health already.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. We were actually looking into that right before the run. Like the routing aspect of the run, we were kind of trying to figure out why does this glitch work, because it's so ridiculous. That bear that you're seeing disintegrate there, that's the one that Jin was fighting. Fu is tied up at the top of the manor here. Basically, we're saving her and also saving Warso's clan and everything. So, yeah, we just got a short little scene here before the game ends, and then we'll be good to go. But while we're here...
Handstand?
Yep. Oh, yeah, you gotta do your handstand, bro.
Oh, dude.
Get back
I don't want to die.
Alright.
I'm sweating. Yeah, infamous. I'm sweating.
Let's go, bro.
I don't even know if I can, bro.
You got the handstand
we believe in
nuggies,
you.
bro. We got the
If you
support.
can't do the handstand, then you're stuck a gin runner for life.
Yep. I'll duck out.
I'll do this way.
catch you.
Oh, dude, no way.
This is the kind of memes you can get with some donos up in here. So. Here we go.
Am I in frame?
I didn't know a handstand was this complex.
You're in frame from what I can see.
You will be in frame if you handstand right here.
Right there?
Wait, is it unassisted? Are we allowed to assist him or no?
Just spot him. If he falls, catch him.
I'm just gonna
Try.
try.
Maybe spot.
I'm just gonna try.
Alright, do it. Let's go, Nuggies. Oh! Yo, let's go! The Nuggie handstand. Poggers.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
Good thing I'm athletic, guys.
He's an
Right.
honorary Mugen runner.
Thank you,
Right.
Infamous, dude. Your generosity will help. I
Thank you,
promise
brother.
that.
Very
That's
helpful.
an assisted handstand though.
So, while the credits are rolling, I'll just do my quick shout outs. Shout out to the host boys at the ASF house. Got Nugs, Shrimp Rain, Fireballa, my boy Final Crash. Shout out to the boys who couldn't be here, Nylan, Art Izon. We'll get them next time, but Nylan, thanks for being on commentary as well. And shout out to everybody who's helping run the event on all sides. Over here with us, the restreams, all the homies. Appreciate you very much. You guys do great work. Shout out to the Anime Speedruns community. We have Discord server. You can find it on pretty much any leaderboard that's related to an anime game. It'll be linked on the little Discord section at the top of the leaderboard. Join us. Figure out what games you like. If you like this game, me and Nugs, Nylan, we can help you out. We're definitely down to teach you guys any runs or just, talk about anime, talk about the speedruns, whatever. And that's about it, though. I appreciate you guys. We're going to get Final Crash ready for his Naruto run up next.
If you guys join the server, feel free to DM me if you need any little tips and tricks for any game.